Hey guys, welcome to PhoneRadar. This is Chetan, and in this video we are going to do the benchmark test of the Lenovo S580 smartphone. This is a smartphone that's available for Rs 8,999 on Snapdeal exclusively, and the actual MRP of this one was Rs 12,000, but Snapdeal has been pushing this for Rs 9,000. That brings this down into the budget range and against a lot of competitors already which are present, such as the Asus Zenfone 5 and the Android One series and the Xiaomi Redmi 1S, as well as many other smartphones. So this one comes right into that cool category, and the Moto E from Motorola that comes at Rs 5,000 is having the same chipset that this one is running with, the Snapdragon 200, that's MSM 8610, and this Adreno 305 GPU with 1 GB of RAM in this. So these are the specifications. Now let's do the benchmark test. The first one that we will do is the Antutu benchmark. So in the test that we did previously, the score was 15,315, and now we'll do the test once again to check how good the score is. When you compare the specifications of this one with the Moto E, that one had an Adreno 302 GPU, while this one comes with a Adreno 305 GPU, a bit better than that, but still the price you're paying is nearly 1.5 times, and the GPU could be better than this, but still Lenovo has its own plans, because the actual good stuff here is with the display and the camera, which is a 720p 5-inch display, and on the rear side it's 8 megapixel camera. So these were the specifications of this smartphone, and a lot of other smartphones also have come with the Snapdragon 200 processor. That's like the Nokia Lumia, the Microsoft Lumia now. So it's 530 and 535 have come with the same processor. So the Snapdragon 200 has its own different chipsets again. So this is the MSM 8610 in particular, and in this test, this is the new Antutu benchmark version 5.5, where you see the different types of tests again, and a single thread showing up what is the percentage that has been reached and what all tests have been done already. As you can notice, it is a 1280 into 720p resolution, so that is what the output is, and that is what the Snapdragon 200 chipset is capable of, an output of 720p video content. So in this test in particular, you would see the content being shown in 720p resolution. This is a 3D benchmark test of Antutu that is being done right now. And if you can notice, the frame rate is not great on direct check with our eyes, because there are stops between every frame, and that is not expected. And what I see as a frame rate in the bottom is around 2.4 and 2.1, which is very low, because the high-end smartphones come with the frame rate of around 45 to 60, and some mid phones come with at least 20 to 30 FPS, and this is quite low, but we'll get to know everything with the Antutu benchmark score in the end. So the test is completed, and let's check out the score now. While this Zenfone 5 is quite higher than this, the score is what we got already previously also. It's 15,288, which is not a good score at all, but again you are asking much from the Snapdragon 200 chipset which is included in this, and the actual score that got low is here because of the storage, I/O and database, and also with the 2D and 3D graphics. Everything else looks good, multitasking is good, and 1 GB of RAM is quite enough for this. So this was the Antutu benchmark test. Now let me go into the next test, that is the Quadrant Standard benchmark, and in this, let's check the system information first. It's Lenovo S580 MSM 8610 is the chipset in this. It's MSM 8212 actually, and we'll run a full benchmark on this one. So this application would check the phone's performance based on CPU, memory, I/O, 2D graphics and 3D graphics. The frame rates that we see here are just about 46 to 50 is what we are seeing in the bottom, and that is not bad at all if you check that with the comparison with the Antutu's testing. So it again depends on the graphics that you are playing. That was quite a high-end graphic that Antutu showed, and these are all basic graphics, and here the frame rate is about 34, and the test is completed. Let us send the benchmark score, and the score that you get here is 8,223, and that is again comparable with the scores of what we saw in the Moto E and the other devices with the Snapdragon 200, and quite lower than the Xiaomi Redmi 1S, which had a score of about 11,000. and the Redmi 1S comes with the Snapdragon 400 chipset. So the last benchmark that we would do is the Vellamo test, and under the Vellamo the important one for us would be the multi-core testing, because there is a quad-core chipset with 1.2 GHz of clocking speed. So it will be good to check how good the scores are and how good the performance is based on the benchmarks. Although we have been using this device for about a week, and we saw the performance not being bad at all at multitasking and even the basic usage. Although what we saw in the graphics performance in the benchmark test is the same what you get in the normal usage also, because the graphics weren't loading greatly, and you can't expect more than 720p output from this device. But while playing games, again, it wasn't a really bad experience, because apart from the processor and the GPU, there's also this display which put out the graphics in a very well way. So the score is 1060. Let us compare this with the scores of other smartphones around this same. And if you can see, the Galaxy S3 has a score of about 1126, and Lenovo S580 comes with a score of 1060. So, and importantly, the Nexus 4 is having a score of 1211. So this is not a bad score at all for the multi-core testing. That is where the four cores are tested. The multi-core is where multitasking and the various other parameters are checked. So these were the benchmark scores of the Lenovo S580 smartphone. With the performance, we did like the device, and it wasn't really bad, but you could expect a lot more than this because of the price you're paying. There are a lot of other competition devices. So this was the benchmark scores and benchmark tests of the Lenovo S580. Do check out the channel PhoneRadar, and in the near future we will be doing the gaming review of the same smartphone and also the camera review, and after that would be the final review of this device. So check out PhoneRadar and subscribe to it for more. Thank you.